Looking back at my early days as a junior engineer, there are so many things that I wish somebody would have just told me. Today, I'm sharing the 3 most important lessons that I've learned and hope that they can help you too. And honestly, these are 3 things that I truly believe would have changed my career trajectory. The first lesson I wish I would have learned much earlier in my career is the power of building in public. And I will die on the hill saying that the biggest accelerator that I had my literal entire career wasn't a course, wasn't a class, wasn't an exam, wasn't a book, wasn't a specific project that I worked on. And instead, that was building in public. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm so glad that it is finally now picking up momentum, and I see more and more people, especially juniors, getting involved in building out in public and throwing their stuff out there. And I think the best part, for me at least, about building in public isn't sharing the code or talking about the project. It's the actual genuine network connections that I've made, all of the new friends that I have, all because I decided to talk about what the hell I was doing. And like, no shit here, I've made tons and tons of new friends, and not just like the friends you have on LinkedIn, but the actual friends that you talk on a regular, weekly, or daily basis. This also became the space where I can force myself to grow. The space where I'm not afraid of making change, where I can go learn new technologies, and honestly get to work on the things that I actually want to work on. And maybe this sounds like bullshit, but I have learned more in the last 1.5 years or so that I've been building in public than I have in probably the last 5 years of just working my 9 to 5. And I think one of my favorite parts is how quickly it creates that positive feedback loop. The more you share, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more confident you become in sharing. And looking back, I wish I had the confidence of working on projects outside of work and talking about what I'm doing. Hindsight obviously is 2020, but had I started building in public sooner and earlier in my career, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably be a much better developer than I am today. And who knows, maybe I would have built that project by now that allows me to be fully sustained without having to work a regular 9 to 5. So don't hold yourself back. Don't be afraid of sharing your ideas. I promise you, nobody's gonna freaking steal your idea. And who knows, you just might meet some of the best friends of your entire life. The second thing I wish I knew as a junior engineer, and shout out to all my seniors out there, this applies to you too, and that is to stop trying to be right all the damn time. Seriously, maybe that sounds so silly and you're like, no shit, you can't be right all the time. But I'm speaking from my own personal experiences where I wanted to be that junior engineer that had an inkling of what the hell was going on, or to at least come off like I understood or that I was intelligent. And I don't know, I think I just had this fear that I would look stupid or something if I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I promise you that this mindset, it's going to cripple your career and your trajectory going forward. You see, engineering isn't about being right. Engineering is about going on the journey to seek truth. It's about pushing code that you think is right before you have every single nitty-gritty detail, especially if it's going to take you weeks to gather more information. And more importantly, it's about running towards failure and not running away from it. And maybe that sounds counterintuitive or honestly terrifying. But if you're going to be a successful engineer here, you need to shorten that feedback loop. You need a place where breaking something is okay, because these are the times where you're going to learn the most. A little personal story for me here. I remember working this project where I had to update or do something with these camel routes. And if you don't know camel, consider yourself lucky, because it's super annoying to deal with. But I was given this task, started the sprint. I had no freaking clue what the hell was going on, and I couldn't figure it out. I didn't want to look stupid, so I just kept my mouth shut, kept trying to go on Stack Overflow. You know, this was the time before ChatGPT and Claude and the other LLMs. All I had was Stack Overflow and books and just general Googles, and I completely failed. I did not figure out what to do with these stupid camel routes, and honestly, I kind of let it get to the best of me. And at this point, the whole sprint has gone by, and I still had zero clue what was going on. Not a damn clue. And that's where I finally got the courage to speak up and talk to my lead developer at the time and just be honest. I don't have a damn clue what's going on. Can you please help me? All that to say, my lead developer did help me. They didn't make me feel like an asshole. They just educated me. I learned a bunch of new things, and unfortunately and fortunately, we solved the problem in about 30 minutes. So it's supposed to be a 30-minute task that took me the entire 2 weeks. And I say all of this to say, do not be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of looking stupid or sounding dumb or asking the wrong question, because there is no wrong question. And I encourage you, push the code before you think it is truly ready, and let the feedback guide you to the solution. But if you push to production on Friday and you break the damn baseline over the weekend, your team is probably going to beat your ass. So don't do that. The last thing I wish I learned earlier in my career as a junior engineer was that code is not your identity. And holy shit, maybe that sounds silly, but I wish someone would have drilled this in my head much earlier. Truth time. I used to take everything so damn personally. Code reviews, one-to-one feedback from my mentor, feedback from my colleagues, everything. It didn't matter. Everything felt like a personal attack. And I think I felt this way because I truly attached myself to my performance in the given sprint. Code became my identity. To this day, and I can laugh about it now, but to this day, I remember the gut rot that I had the very first time I pushed a bug all the way out to production and it brought the server down. But here's the thing. Your code, it's just code. And this is not your worth as a software engineer. Code is just a solution to a problem that you had in a given point in time with the information that you had available. Period. And you see, for me at least, once I got that through my head, everything changed. Work honestly became more enjoyable. Code reviews didn't feel like a slaughter fest, and I actually got to learn from them. And I wasn't afraid of speaking up or pushing something shitty or developing something suboptimal. Now I work on projects where I spend days and many hours writing this code solution just to find something better at the last minute and delete several days worth of work. And now I don't care. It doesn't defeat me anymore like it would have when I was younger. And maybe this is just a part of maturing, but I wish when I was younger, somebody would have made it abundantly clear that this is natural, this is part of the process, this is part of the damn game that we are all playing as software engineers. And I think had somebody made it more clear to me, I would have had a lot more time learning and a lot less time trying to scramble and get to the deadline, exhausted and tired and burnt out. That all to say, you're not code. You are the problem solver behind it. And that problem solver needs to be here for the long haul without burning out, without quitting, without going crazy, all because your code is your identity. So take care of yourself. Find your worth outside of code. Learn to actually enjoy the learning process and don't be afraid of failure. And I promise you, if you could even do one of those things, start today, you will be much better off for it in the coming years. And with that, I will see you all next week. Peace.